you know that Trump and Harvard has been having its disagreements. I've already mentioned that I don't understand why Harvard decided to put their whole um, school's legacy, reputation, and funding on the line in order to fight for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, recently, we know that Trump had said that they're going to stop international students from being able to enroll, which is a quarter of the population over at Harvard. And it's a lot of money. It's a lot of revenue that comes in from international students because they pay much higher tuition. It's a lot of things that benefit you know, that area in that school as a result of international students. So they going down this long road that's basically going to lead to Harvard suffering one way or another. Yesterday, I seen during the show people were saying that a judge, a local judge, I don't know if it was a local judge or if it was a state judge, but a judge basically put a temporary halt to the decision of Trump being able to prevent international students from coming over to Harvard. So let's explore that. We're going to look at it from the CNN side, and then I'm going to go over to CBS to get Trump's perspective on this whole situation and how this is going to play out and how this continues to affect the fight that's going on between Harvard, Trump, with Harvard basically advocating for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it, y'all.
Issued a temporary restraining order on the Trump administration's ban on Harvard's ability to enroll international students. Now, that ban would impact nearly a quarter of the student body at Harvard. The administration says it's because of Harvard's handling of anti-Semitism on campus and that enrolling international students is a privilege, not a right. Harvard calls it, quote, clear retaliation for refusing to bow to the White House demands. I want to turn to CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig, who is going to explain in English what exactly this means. First of all, the what we just heard from the judge, and broadly, what the actual case you think both the administration and Harvard have here.
Yeah, so Dana, this ruling just came out minutes ago. It is a big win for Harvard, temporary, but very significant. What this says is the court is blocking the Trump administration from blocking Harvard from bringing in international students. In other words, as of this moment, it's back to the status quo. Harvard may continue to bring in international students. Now, the way this case came about is the Trump administration sent a letter about a month ago in April to Harvard saying essentially, we want the following information on every one of your 7,000 international students. We want disciplinary records. We want records of any obstructive behavior by any of them, any dangerous behavior by any of them. Harvard tried to comply to the extent they could. Some of those terms are very general, but Harvard sent back documents to the Trump administration. The Trump administration said, nope, we're not satisfied, and therefore you can no longer accept these students. Now, the court today said, I'm putting that on hold. The judge said, I'm putting that on hold because to block these international students would cause irreparable harm, both to the students, some of whom are currently enrolled at Harvard. Suddenly their status was in question. Can they go back? Can they attend the summer semester? And to Harvard itself, which, as you said, about a quarter of its entire student body are these international students. So for the moment, Harvard is free to continue admitting these students, but the larger issue still has to play out in the courts.
And Ellie, what legal basis does the Trump administration have for its actions here?
So it's not exactly clear to me. It seems like the Trump administration's legal position here is we're the executive branch. We control these student visa programs, F1 and J1 student visa programs. And if we want to revoke them, we can revoke them. And by the way, we're doing this all to prevent anti-Semitism on campus. However, Harvard's response to that in their brief that they put in yesterday is, first of all, it violates our First Amendment rights. It's not up to the government, the federal government, to micromanage speech and ideology on campus. And then Harvard's second argument is, even if the administration had the right to do this, they have to comply with something called the Administrative Procedures Act, basically saying they have to go through a process. We're entitled to a hearing. We're entitled to an appeal. And none of that has been done yet. And I think that's part of the reason we saw today's ruling as well. It seems to me on the face of it, Harvard has a much stronger legal argument.
Ellie, thank you so much for helping break that down for us. Appreciate it. Good to see you. And
All right.
here at the table, I'm joined by an amazing group of reporters today. CNN's Jamie Gengel, Zolan Kano-Youngs of the New York Times, CNN's Elena Treen, and Tia Mitchell of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Happy Friday, everybody. Friday of a holiday weekend. Jamie, put this in perspective.
So, as Ellie said, this is a big win for Harvard, but there is still uncertainty about how this is going to play out. Imagine if you're a student and you're wondering, will I really be able to go to class in the fall? It's also not just international students at Harvard who are panicked about this. Every university is watching this. Every business is watching this, wondering, are we next? And just big picture, we were discussing this earlier, this is a real problem for our country right now because we are seeing this throughout. We're seeing it at law firms. We're seeing it at universities. We're seeing, Tim Cook at Apple was told you're going to get a 20.
Let me show y'all this really quickly. I want to show y'all exactly what the cost is to attend Harvard. Check this out. This is according to the Harvard website, harvard.edu. It said that Harvard's college tuition rates for the academic year 25-26, obviously 24-25 is already passed. The tuition rates are $59,000. That is for a 4-year tuition, right? For visiting undergraduate students, full tuition, which is what you see right here, is $56,000 plus fees. And that's for a 4-year. So tuition is $59,000, $59,320. Health services, I don't even know what that is. It's $1,800. Housing, that's basically, I guess you stand on campus, is $13,532. Student services is $3,600. The food rate is $8,598. So your total anticipated costs for one full academic year will be basically $87,000. We need to get in the student business. You know what I'm saying? We need to get into classes. The student dog. $86,000 to go to an indoctrination camp is wild. Somebody said Harvard is basically $100,000 a year when you add all of the extras. Probably a little bit more. The average, what is the average? Let me see something. Average household income in the United States is $80,000 a year. The median household income for the United States in 2023 was $80,000 a year. And this was an increase from the 2022 median of $77,540. Dang, it's crazy. So if the median household income is $80K, and obviously it's a wide range in between there, and it costs you more than $80,000 in order to go to school, it's crazy. My man from Japan says, why is college so expensive in the United States of America? Because it's a racket. Because it's a racket. To stay on campus and to go over to Harvard, it's going to cost you $87,000 a year. That's crazy. Whew. Good God. Do graduate? All right, I'll look up graduate in a second. Let me go back to this video where they're discussing it.
5% tariff. Both Democrats and Republicans have said to me, this is what authoritarian capture looks like.
And so what the administration is sort of going in with, and what they started to go in with at other schools, but Harvard in particular, has been, you didn't handle the very raw, very real anti-Semitism that made Jewish students feel uncomfortable and unsafe for a long time, particularly after October 7th. Well, and so we are going to punish you. What the administration did with their threats is went far beyond anti-Semitism. And they made demands from Harvard that were based on political ideology, having really nothing to do with anti-Semitism. And that's one of the things that Larry Summers, who has had a lot of jobs, Treasury Secretary, but he was also the president of Harvard for a while. Here's what he said this morning on CNN.
Harvard Graduate School of Education is saying roughly $60,000. That's what it's saying, 60 grand. It's a lot of money, bro. That's a lot of money. Here's the breakdown, right? This is what it really comes down to, is that it is a war. And it is going to be something that is tested in the courts. It's going to cost Harvard a lot of money. It's probably going to cost them a lot in research. And more importantly, it's damaging their reputation as far as people willing to spend and send their child over here in the United States of America, because 25%, 1/4 of everybody that goes to Harvard, 25% of the entire population, of their student population that can even afford to go to Harvard in the first place, are international students. And that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. If I am a person that's looking to make sure that my child get an American education, because that is a very popular thing, and I have resources, I'm probably not even going to consider Harvard, considering that my child can get deported or something is happening because they choose to fight the good fight. Is it fair? Probably not. Probably not. But if you are a person, again, that's looking at it from a business perspective, would you send your child, if you have the option to send your child to any school, but you want them to get an American education, would you then send them to Harvard, considering everything that's going on? Would you send them to Harvard? That's the whole point. This has nothing to do with whether they win or lose. Harvard loses no matter what. They lose no matter what. They take a hit across the board, no matter what. Is there, you said it's an Anton Daniels. If there's an Anton Daniels profile inside of the chat, go ahead and mute it and block it. Go ahead and block that. Don't even time it out. Just block it. If there's an Anton Daniels profile inside of the chat, just go ahead and just block them off completely. Mods, you got to get on that shit. Oh, there it is. I see it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead. There we go. That's how you know that people have too much time on their hands. Think about this from this front. Think about being a person that's sitting in your basement or sitting in your living room, and you're supposed to be trying to figure out how to make money, and you get off a Call of Duty for a second, and you say, you know what? I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a profile of Anton Daniels just so I can subscribe, then chat, and then get blocked. Do you think about what kind of effort? You got 30-year-olds that act like 13-year-olds. They go jack off and then they go do stuff like that. Y'all ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing better to do. You ain't got no pussy to get. Even at 13, I was trying to bust it down for a real one. You ain't got nothing to do. Ain't no food to go eat. Ain't no go play outside. Go ride your bike. Anything. You did all of that just for nothing. That's gay. That's gay in real life. They want the milk.